All right, well, thanks for working out our technical difficulties there.
If me get started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for working out our technical difficulties. I appreciate you joining us. Like I said, we're recording this also for our friends at Ridgeland High School and Germantown High School.
Okay.
It's our personal finance class, and we are talking about the banking. We're doing a project on banking right now and the things that banks do and how we can serve them even as teenagers and why it's important to know about the banks. Known you for 25 years. So we just celebrated 21 years out of high school. Got somebody local from Madison County, went to Madison County schools, and vice president at Liberty Bank and Trust. So can you explain what that means and what all you do and what all banks do?
I can. Well, thank you so much, Greg, and thank you all for your time and attention this evening. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen. I put together a presentation for today's meeting. And so like Greg said, he and I both went to Mount Central High School. We graduated in the year 2000. So we are the class of 2000. So yes, I'm from Florida, Mississippi, currently live in Madison, but I have a section here where I'm gonna get into the about me. But just as an overview, what we're gonna discuss today, I would like to give you a brief background into my background. I'll talk about the benefits of having a bank account, talk about services that banks offer. I'm gonna talk briefly about the importance of budgeting, very, very important. I'm also gonna talk about the core elements of a resume. I'm going to talk about lessons learned along the way. And what I mean by that is different things that I've just learned, different nuggets, different wisdom that I've learned since I graduated high school up to this point that I just want to share some wisdom and insights with you guys today. And then lastly, we'll conclude by just having a little brief question and answer session. And so this is a little bit about me. After I graduated from Mount Central in 2000, I went on to Mississippi State University where I did major in banking and finance, and then also minor in economics. And then I worked at Wells Fargo and Regions Bank for some years. And as I was still working, I decided to go back to work on my MBA. So I did enroll at Belhaven University where I got my master's of business administration. And like Greg said earlier, my current role, I'm the vice president. I'm the region director of commercial lending and business development here for the state of Mississippi. And so what that means, I'm the head commercial lender for the state. So what I do, I help companies and businesses to get loans and capital that they need to take their business to another level, whether they need finance to purchase a new building, whether they need to purchase equipment, whether they need a line of credit for like working capital, whatever the need is, that is what I do here for Liberty Bank and Trust. Our bank is headquartered out of New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm located here at the Jackson, Mississippi office. My hometown is Florida, Mississippi. I currently reside in Madison. I am currently married, have two sons. My oldest is 17. He goes to Germantown High School. He's a senior. And my youngest is 9, and he's at the 4th grade at Mansdale Upper Elementary School. Beyond my professional background here at the bank, I'm also a pastor of Total Praise Worship Center. And I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I am the founder and owner of a professional development company, Right Way Resumes, where we do professional resumes, cover letters, and LinkedIn profiles.
Oh, cool.
So first, I just want to kind of talk about the benefits of having a bank account. So one of the first benefits is that it gives you a head start on proper money management. You know, it's never too late to start thinking about how to be wise with your money. And even as a young adult, having a bank account would teach you how to save and how to manage your money wisely, and also would teach you how to become more financial literate. And so never too young. I know the age that most banks like for you to be before opening up an account is 18, but do not let that stop you. My son was 16. I signed on an account with him being an adult. And so just as long as, you have an adult, someone that's willing, that's over 18, that can sign the account with you, you can get an account. So it gives him the ability to learn how to manage his account. He works, he can deposit his checks into his account, he pays bills from his account, he has a debit card. And so it's just teaching him those money management skills early on. So that way, when he go to college and venture on to other ventures in life, he have a strong foundation learning how to manage his money. Next, it also helps you to establish credit. So I know you guys probably have heard about credit scores. Everyone have. We know that credit score is very important because a good credit score will give you the ability to qualify for loans, whether it be a car loan, whether it be a loan for a house, student loans when you get older. But hopefully you guys will get scholarships and not need student loans. But in case you did, all those factors are very important and to the reason why you want to make sure that you establish credit and open up a bank account. You want to make sure that you are responsible with that account. And when I say responsible, you don't want to spend what you don't have. If you don't have it, don't spend it, because what would happen is if you go into the negative and if you opt in, the bank can charge you an overdraft fee. Or if you don't opt in to allow the overdraft fee, they will return those transactions back to the merchant for insufficient funds. And so when you have an account, you want to be smart with it. You want to be responsible. If you don't have it, don't spend it. Why? Because everything that you do with your account can either help your credit or it can hurt you, depending on how well you manage that account. Another benefit of a bank account, of course, it helps you to save money. Of course, if we keep our money in our pockets that we get, we'll be more like amped to spend that money. I know for me, when I have cash on me, I just spend it. But when I have my debit card, I kind of think twice before I spend it. But if I have like a lot of money on me or just have cash in my wallet, I'm just more amped to spend it. So my debit card really benefits me and helping me to save money. Next, it helps you to better secure your money. Of course, you probably have heard that banks and credit unions, banks, we are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, up to 250,000. Credit unions are but their regulatory body is called the National Credit Union Association. Both are very similar, but one is for banks, FDIC, and then the NCUA is for credit unions, but they insure your money up to 250,000. So that means that if something happened bad to our economy, to anything, to that bank, if that bank, fails, meaning that that bank go out of business or something, your money is protected. Like I said, if it's a bank, it's the FDIC, and if it's a credit union, it's the NCUA, the National Credit Union Association. If you're at the age or when you get a job, of course, direct deposit is another benefit of having an account. So instead of getting a paper check, then you have to worry about trying to get to your bank to deposit check your account. And then wait till the money to clear the next day before you even can have access to your funds. Another benefit of having a bank account is that you can provide your employer with your account number and your routing number on their direct deposit form. And then on every payday, your money is automatically deposited into your account. So when you wake up, your money is there pending in your account. You ain't got to try to worry about getting that check, run across town, or get to your bank or credit union to deposit it. It is already there. So it just extra convenience and it saves you more time. Next, it helps to enhance your financial portfolio. With most credit unions and banks, when you open up an account with them, it helps you to develop your relationship with that institution. And relationships are so important because it gives you access to additional services that bank or credit union may offer. And we're going to get to that on our next slide. But it helps you to, one, be more respected. You'll be taken more seriously because you have an account, but also helps you access to different features, different discounts you can probably get on a loan, or different services that you probably even know the bank even had. Just because you have a relationship with that bank and you have an account, then you can become more in tune to what all that bank offers. And then lastly, it helps you to plan for the future. Like we talked about, it helps you to save. It teaches you how to manage money at an early age. So that way, when you go to college or when you graduate college and get that career of your dreams, you already know how to save. You already know how to manage your account. You already understand how banking works. And so a bank account really helps to prepare you for the road ahead. And like I said earlier, the earlier that you can have an account or get an account, the better. So really brief, we're going to talk about some services that bank offers. Of course, you heard about accounts. So depository accounts, we offer checking accounts. We offer savings accounts. We offer money market accounts. We offer what's called certificate of deposits. And for those who want to save for retirement, we have what's called IRAs. Of course, checking and savings, you're very familiar with that. A money market account is kind of like a hybrid between a checking and a savings, where it has the features of a savings account, but it earns interest like a savings account. And then a certificate deposit, your money is locked away for like 6 months or a year, and it earns interest. So interest is the bank paying you on your money with them. So a CD, if that's something that you feel that you have some extra monies in your savings, that well, my savings account is earning like 0.3 or 0.5, some low rate right now, but I know the CD rates are earning a little bit more. So I want to take a portion of my money and open up me a CD so my money can just sit there and I don't touch it. It can earn interest and grow. So that's just another benefit of having an account and being wise about the different services that a bank offer. And we talked about loans. So what type of loans do a bank offer? Of course, we do personal loans, we do auto loans, mortgage loans, which is like a house loan. We offer business loans. Again, that's mainly what I do as a director of commercial here at the bank. And we also offer business and personal credit cards. And so just you want to try not to need a loan, but of course, when sometimes to finance a big purchase, loans are the best way to go so that you can afford it, pay that monthly payment. Of course, you always want to get the lowest rate possible. But like I was saying earlier, you always want to make sure that you have an account, because having an account, having a relationship with a bank could maximize your chances of qualifying for a loan. A lot of times when you're young, you don't really have credit. So having an account helps you to build credit with that institution, because they're gonna look at your account history. They're gonna look to see, well, how many overdrafts have this account had, and how have they handled their account? Have they been responsible? And of course, I know all of you are going to have a perfect record and history with your account. I know it. So they're going to look at your account. They're going to say they handle their account so responsibly. They never ran into the overdraft, and they have performed as well, and they have direct deposit coming to the account, so everything is going. So that again makes you stand out. It's like a star that's put on your name just because you have handled your account so well, and it will help you to qualify for loans at the time that you may need them. Of course, being in high school, you're not really thinking about loans, but as you get older, that may be something that one day you may have to get a loan. If you want to buy a house one day, buy your own car one day, it may come a time where you say, well, I have my account, but I want to look at, sprucing up my credit a little bit more. And so you may want to get like a little small credit card. But of course, anything that you do, especially when you're under 18, you talk to an adult, your parents, before doing so. But mainly, I just wanted to educate you about different services that the bank offer. And then lastly, of course, we have money management services. So of course, you got the money, you got the account, you may or may not have a credit card or loan at this time. But when you have your account, it's very convenient for you to be able to, pick up your cell phone, check your balance. And if you have a checking and savings account, you can transfer money between your account. So we have online banking services that would allow you that ability. Of course, with the new generations, even my generation, we love doing everything electronic. I love e-statements, so you can get your statement electronically as opposed to in the mail. But if you say, well, I would like to, get my statements in the mail, I want a paper statement, you do have that option as well, but you also can get them emailed to you from your bank. You can also pay bills from the convenience of your phone or your online banking app. So, and also with the new feature called remote deposit, that enables you, if you did get a paycheck or, a check from someone, a parent, or if you did like babysat or did some little job and someone gave you a check, if you have remote deposit with your account, you can just get your cell phone, take a picture of the check, and automatically deposit that money into your account without even have to go into a physical location. So again, those are just convenient services and benefits once you have your bank account established. So we talked about budgeting, we talked about being responsible. And so on this slide, we're going to talk about the importance of budgeting. So what is budgeting? In a nutshell, it's just the successful management of your income, meaning the money that you bring in, your expenses, what you're spending your money on, and what you have remaining afterwards. And so you want to be very responsible. So tip number one is not all about how much money you make, but rather how well you manage it. I know some people, in the course of my career, very wealthy, have a lot of money, but because they don't manage it right, they don't even really see it. And so it's not really about how much money a person makes, it's about how well they manage it. And so if you're frugal and you're responsible, you can really make your money stretch more. So tip 2 goes with it. Don't spend more than what you have. I've been talking about that pretty much throughout our time. If you don't have it, don't spend it. Don't try to, keep up with the latest fashions and the latest fads going on. You have to be true to how much money you have coming in, and really make sure that you're careful and you're being thoughtful about what is it that you're spending your money on. Because again, you want to budget. You only have so much coming in, and you only have so much to spend on bills and different expenses. So you want to make sure that you don't overspend. Because like I was saying earlier, when you have an account, everything about your history with that account is going to be watched. It can either hurt you or it can greatly help you. And so my goal is that I'm hoping that it will help you by being responsible. So don't overspend, only spend what you have and don't go over it. And so that leads to tip 3, be smart with your money. You know, you only get so much, so you want to be smart, you want to be wise with it, and learn. You know, even in banking or anything that you decide to do in life, it's all about being educated. So, you know, study about your bank. Read about the features and benefits of your products that you have so that you can understand everything about that account. When you open up your account, have that account representative to explain to you everything about that account. So that way there's no surprises. You have a good understanding about how to budget and how to also maintain a good account, because again, everything you do is going to follow you into your future. And so you want to make sure that you're making wise, smart decisions now. So we also want to talk about the core elements of a resume. Like I said earlier, I also have a professional development resume company called Right Resumes. And so I have a son that's a senior at Germantown High School. I know for them, they want them to know how to write a resume. I know even when he was applying for college, he said, Dad, I need a resume. I need a cover letter. So I know it's something that's very important. So we want to kind of make sure we kind of briefly talk about the core elements of a resume, and also put in here little tips for you to make sure that as you're working on your resume, that you want to make sure you're included. So of course, a resume at the top is going to have an objective statement. You want your objective statement to be catchy. You want to use relevant action verbs, and you want it to be concise. And so you want to catch the attention. Because think about this. If you're sending a resume, whether it's to a college or whether to apply for a job, that college or that job is going to see a lot of resumes. So you want to make sure that you're doing things to stand out. So you want to stand out in a good way. Next, you want to list your education. Of course, right now, you guys are in high school, so you want to list the name of your school, the city and state that you're located in. If you haven't graduated yet, you would just list expected and then May and then your graduation year. So if you're a senior right now, you'll put May 2022. If you're a junior, you'll put expected May 2023, and so on and so forth. A rule of thumb in doing resumes, if your GPA is at or above a 3.0, you want to go ahead and list that GPA on your resume. If not, like the rule is, don't list it. And then if you had any work history, you want to include that here. That can be anything from a former job, like at a restaurant or any type of job. You can put that there, or it could be something simple as babysitting or some other type of job that you probably had landscaping, probably help cut grass in your neighborhood. Whatever that is, it's the experience. You want to put it down. And so you want to make sure that you include the start and end date of that employment. You want to put the name of the company or the person that you work for, and talk a little bit about your role. What did you do? And then add about 2 to 3 bullet points, kind of describing your activities and tasks that you did with that prospective job. I would encourage you all to make sure, if you're not already, to make sure you get involved in different clubs, different organizations that your school has to offer. You want to make sure that you list your years of involvement with that prospective club or organization. You want to make sure any kind of special honors you receive, any kind of special recognitions, you want to make sure you include that in your resume. And then last but not least, if you want to list some references if you have them available. So you want to list at least 3 professional references on your resume. So, you know, right now in high school, that can be teachers, that can be counselors, that can be different administrative officials, someone that can speak to your character, someone that kind of can talk to your work ethic. It can be friends of your parents. I mean, your parents, your friends' parents.
Friends of your friends.
If you, yeah, that's it. Thank you. It could be a boss, you know, it could be anyone. So you want to make sure, even now, and I'm going to talk about this more and lesson along the way, even now in school, that's why you want to make sure, stay out of trouble, work hard, because why? All of that is going to matter. You may not think about it matter right now, but in due time, due season, everything adds up. And so if you need a reference, you want to have a good enough rapport with a teacher or counselor, someone there that you can go to them and they can, you know, ask them, would they mind serving as a professional reference on your resume? And then if you don't have any references, then you just want to make sure that you put references available upon request down in the footer section of your document. And so I want to make sure that I share lessons learned on the way. And so, of course, it seems like many years since Greg and I was in high school, but it really feels like yesterday. So I can remember a lot of things of how I thought then, and then how experience taught me things along the way. So I want to make sure I left you guys with some nuggets and insights that I've learned, sometimes the hard way, sometimes just because of what I learned in different jobs that I've held. So one is prepare for success now. No matter if you're in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11 or 12, you can prepare for success right now. How can you do it? Make the absolute best grades that you can. And like I said earlier, be involved, join different clubs, join different organizations. Treat every lecture, every assignment, every quiz, every test, every exam as extremely important. I tell this to both my sons. You aren't going to be able to take that quiz, that test one time. After it's done, it's done. So make sure you're preparing. Make sure you're doing your best to make the highest grade that you can. Because once that assignment is over, most times it's over. You can't go back and change anything. And so you want to make sure, treat every lecture, assignment, everything that you are given as important. Every class that you're in, treat it as important. Every club, every organization, treat everything as important. Knowledge is good, but also morals will take you a very long way. Always be humble. Learn to take instructions and directions well. Work hard, study, and respect everyone. When deciding on your career path, be true to what's innately inside of you. Follow your dreams and stay focused. And everything that you do today is going to affect your tomorrow, whether that's good or bad. But again, I'm hoping that it be good and tremendous for you, because you're going to be wise and you're going to treat everything as having value, and you're going to take everything as an opportunity. No matter if you look at it as being small or big, it all has value and it all adds up in the end. So with that, that concludes my presentations today. So I thank you all for your attention. So at this time, anyone have any questions?
I do have some I want to get to of theirs, but I have two I want to that I have. The first one is about I got one about banking, one about resumes.
Okay.
You grew up in a rural area, and we're in a rural area here. And I know a lot of the older generation, even older than us, our grandparent age, they seem to be scared of the banks. Seem that it's hard to deal with. It's confusing. So why is it important for and we're in a rural community here? Why is it important for people to not only establish that relationship but also get comfortable using banking services?
Yeah, so great question. So like I was saying earlier, one thing is, I think a lot of time the uncertainty is that there's a lack of knowledge and a lack of education. And so that's why I say do your research. Most every bank have a website, every credit union have a website. You can actually research and find out the knowledge for yourself. Then follow with it, ask a parent, if you don't drive right now, talk to your parents and ask them about an account, ask them, even take you to a bank if they don't mind. So that way you can actually have a banker that really can explain to you the ins and outs of having an account. But like I said, having an account has so many benefits. One, it teaches you how to manage money now at an early age. And the earlier you can start, the farther ahead you will be in the future. Because at some point, eventually you're going to need an account. And so one, like I said, to pay bills, one, to keep your money secure. And keep it safe, earn interest, so many benefits to having a relationship with the bank. One, if you ever need, like I said, in the future, as you need loans or different things to buy a house or buy a car, if you had an account and you've had it for some years, okay, so longevity is something else. So if you have an account, say you've had it for 2 or 3 years before even needing a loan, that's history. That's helping you build credit with that institution. And so many benefits. It teaches so many value. It teaches you how to budget, and it prepares you for the real world.
Awesome. Yeah. And I agree. And now, especially with technology, there's so much, like you said, you can have a bank account without really stepping in the foot in the bank very often. Now, as far as resumes, and I'm a resume Nazi as well, and they all know that. But and you said the exact same things that I've said. But one thing that I always talk about is, one, when you're putting your experience, how important is it to match things that are in the job description that you're looking for? And then when you're putting your things in high school, how important is it to be as concrete and what I always say is quantifiable and measurable? How important are those two items?
Yes, very, very important. One, I know when you're in high school, say for instance, if you want to major in, when you want to be a nurse or a doctor, you get older, an attorney or a banker like myself, whatever it is, of course, in high school, it's kind of probably hard to find those opportunities. So a lot of times employers are not really looking for you to be in different jobs that relate exactly to your major, but what they are looking for is your work ethic. They're looking at your character. They're trying to see someone who is well-rounded. And so just having a job speaks a lot to your work ethic. It shows that you have experience and that you have experience working with people. And then you can speak to certain things that you do at that job. So say, for instance, if you're a cashier, that involves counting money. So, that can be something to serve you if you was to go into a financial career or in a banking background. And so I would just say, try your best to find a fit and how it can relate to the job or whatever you're trying to go for. But if it's not, it's still okay, because you can still show that at least I've had a job, I've had some experience, I have these skills. I'll talk about the skills that I've learned in what I do. And like you said, Greg, quantifiable results, definitely. So if you accomplish certain things in your job, you want to make sure that you put that in there. Very important. It makes you stand out. And like I was saying earlier, anything that make you stand out, the better. I know one thing that helped me in my success when I was in high school and I was thinking about graduating and going to college, I was thinking, okay, there's like our graduating class, like over 300 and something graduates. And so I'm like, okay, all of us gonna have, good GPAs, but what is it, Ralph, that's gonna separate you from the pack? And so that little extra by being involved, by having jobs, those things help make you, beyond just the academics, make you be a little bit more well-rounded.
Yeah, because I know I played football and we were in choir together, but you were in just about every dang club that could possibly imagine. It was unbelievable.
Mhm.
But I do have some great questions here from students. This is Brandon Lemon, and he's a senior. And he asked, what are some things to look for when you're choosing a bank?
Wow. I think that you should choose a bank that's one. Think about your future and think about if you want to, you're more of a community person where you prefer small banks, or you think about a larger bank. So for example, if I was a senior right now and I'm thinking about if I was moving out of state to go to college, then I may want to I want to bank with a bank that is in other states. So I may want to bank with a bigger bank. So therefore, if I need money, my parents can deposit really quick. I have access to ATMs. If I have a question, I can go into that bank in the town that my college is in. So I may well do that. But say for you say, well, I'm just thinking about staying close to home. I'm thinking about starting a community college or a university here in Mississippi. Well, if it's here in the Greater Jackson area, you probably, bank with a bank that's small, local, and may only have a few locations. But if you think about going to like of the Mississippi State or Ole Miss or USM, Jackson State, Valley, Delta State, or wherever it is, you want to make sure, do this institution have a location? And I'm at the college I'm thinking about going to. So I think the greatest thing to think about is if that bank or that credit union have a presence in the city or state that you will be residing in when you get ready to make the next step after high school.
Okay, yeah, and that's a great point. And Brandon's actually, he wants to be a truck driver. So based on what you said, it might be better for him to choose one of the places that has branches all over the country.
Right. Yes.
And there are several to choose from. There's a lot that they have branches here, but they also have branches in California. So there are a lot of banks you could choose from. This is Anastasia Brown, and she's a junior. And she asked, when you tell your children about banking, which card would you tell them to use, a debit card or a credit card?
Well, great question. So with a checking account, it's going to come with a debit card. So a debit card and a credit card is a little different. A debit card, they both have like the Visa logo, but they're, thought of differently. So a debit card is tied to your account. So if you don't have the money in that account, that debit card is only going to go up to that certain amount. So even you only got $100 in your account, that debit card can only be used up to, $100. But I know you guys gonna be responsible. You're not gonna mess out that close. If you have 100, you say I may spend 50. I'm gonna save the rest to payday. But and a credit card, it has its own credit line. So say for instance, and you have to apply for it, and it's based on credit score and different factors. And so say if you got a credit card and you had a limit of $1,000, that's not even connected to your checking or savings account. It's on the line based on that company. So say if they approve you for $1,000 or $500 or $250, wherever the case may be, then it's built, it's based on credit. But I would say with credit cards, again, be responsible, consult with an adult before, getting credit cards. But one thing that I have done is, like with my oldest, me being a parent and adult, I have established credit, I have credit cards. So I add him to it. So that way my good credit and my good payment history reflects him. So as he get older and get ready to graduate and do what he want to do, and comes the time like when he want to buy a house or buy a car his own, once he gets his degree and different things, he already have a credit history based on, my performance on my card help establish his credit. So that's like a little tidbit, that can also be a benefit to you guys.
Absolutely.
If you have a parent that, willing to do that for you.
Oh yeah. This is a Marion Bolden. He's a junior, and this is a great question because I always say, if you want to set some more of a set schedule, banking might be a good field for you. And he's asking, what is a typical work week like in a bank?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I think that it depends on the role that you're in. So with me, I worked in both the retail, so in the branch world, being a personal banker, I've been an assistant branch manager. In my role now, I'm more of a specialized person in commercial lending. So in my world, I have a business development. So I meet with different business owners. And so I talk to them about their business. I try to learn about their history of their business. I really try to get to know their business. So that way, when they have a need, whether it's for an account or a loan, I know how to best recommend solutions to help their business. But I also assist in underwriting a loan. Okay, so that involves in me crunching numbers. That involves me looking at tax returns, financial statements, and things of that nature. So I know how to do underwriting as well. So I'll say a typical day for me involves business development, little underwriting, answering questions. Of course, my phone may ring from a customer that's needing to ask me a question or follow up and ask me something. Attend meetings. We have departmental meetings, or I may have one-on-one meetings with different lenders in different states, just depending on what the need is. We do have a set schedule. So my schedule is 8:30 to 4:30. That's just the hours here at Liberty Bank. Some banks are like 8 to 5. So it depends per, bank and their hours. But banking,
Not a lot of late nights and weekends.
so I'm off on the weekends, and so I like that. So, and that's a great lead right there. It's very good when you think about a career, thinking about their hours and what they do and all that, and align that to your personal goals and visions.
Absolutely. I mean, working in finance is very, very conducive to people who want to have a family. So that's always something to think about. And I know you're married with 2 children, and being in a bank, you have a set schedule and you're able to spend time with your family. This is a great question. This is Shania Jackson, and she's a junior. And she asks, do you ever get checks or bills that are fraud?
Oh, yes. Yes. And the bank has many measures to try to detect fraud on the front end and avoid them. And there's also many government regulations that help us to be able to recognize fraud as well. In my role as a commercial lender, I don't see it as much, but our branch team that's literally right here in the same office with me, they see it more frequently than I do. But there's different regulations and different measures that the bank has put in place to try to lessen and reduce the chance of fraud. But yes, I have seen it, especially in this technological age that we all are in. People are getting more clever and how to do fraud. But just know that the banks and have a lot of measures in place to keep our accounts and customers' information as safe as possible, but also to help reduce the chance of fraud even on the front end. And given our experience, a lot of time bankers, because they have so much experience, have seen so much, they can quickly recognize things. So if a check is not looking right, they can, because they know how one's supposed to look, they can pretty much catch things on the front end.
Oh yeah. Now this is a great question. This is Miles Woodard, and he's a sophomore, and he asked, what advice would you give someone with bad credit and they need to take out a loan?
That is great. And it depends on situation. And just because, and so I guess we have to define what bad means. So I'll say bad is if their credit score is not right at where our standards will be. Now here, and every bank is different. Here at Liberty, in commercial banking, credit is not like our main thing. The main thing for us in the commercial business world is cash flow, is that person's ability to pay the loan. Yep. Then we look at credit and collateral and different other things that we look at. Now on personal loans, like a personal loan, car loan, house loan, credit is like the main thing. And so it would depend on what type of issues are on the credit. If there are like slow pay, like 30-day lates or 60 or 90, then, may want to encourage them, make sure you pay your bills on time, and then educate them about credit and how it works. But say if it's some more significant things like they filed bankruptcy or there's some kind of judgments or different tax liens, something significant, then the advice will be a little different. So if it's like tax liens or judgments, I would encourage them to make sure they get those resolved, paid off, and then get us like the letter that they have been paid off and satisfied. And then if it's a bankruptcy, if it's less than 2 years old, there's really little any bank can do. But here at Liberty, our policy is if that bankruptcy has been discharged greater than 2 years, give us a copy of your discharge paperwork, and then there may be a way that we can work around it. So what I would say, it's going to depend from bank to bank, their policies and procedures. But here at Liberty Bank, we're going to look at it. We're going to try our best to work with that customer. If we can work with them, if the issues are not too significant, we're going to try to find a way to make it work. And if we can't make it work, then we're going to educate that consumer and tell them things that they can do to help their credit situation so they can qualify for a loan.
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is Korea Baker. She's a sophomore. And she asked, when you were starting college, did you always want to be the vice president of a bank?
Wow, that's an excellent question. So I didn't know exactly if I worked for a bank or finance, or I didn't know if I would be working like at an investment company. I can't tell you my inspiration. So I was 15, and in my hometown of Florida, we had a restaurant called the Pizza Place. And so I was one day talking to the owner there, and as we were talking, and my brother had worked there. I have a brother that's 5 years older than me. I'm the baby of the family, and I know he worked there. So I knew him, and I had ended up getting a job there too. But as talking to him, I found that he went to Mississippi State, and I realized he told me he majored in banking and finance. Instantly, like a light bulb click. At that point, I instantly knew I was going to go to Mississippi State, and I was going to major in banking and finance. And fortunately for me, that's what I did. And most freshmen, when they came into Mississippi State, I can remember having friends who were undecided. Their majors were undecided. I was never undecided, and I never even changed my major along the way. And actually what happened for me when I became a junior, I don't know, it was like 2 classes away of getting my minor in economics, and I loved economics and realized I excelled in it. It was like so easy. I was getting A's. I'm like, I want to go ahead and do this. So I enhanced my degree and got a minor in economics as well. But I always knew that I was going to be in banking and finance. I didn't really know where that path was going to take me. But once I got in banking, to answer your question, then I say, yes, I want to be a, officer, like a assistant vice president or a vice president. And so now my next thing is I want to be an executive of a bank. So I always want to keep being ambitious, and I still want to keep climbing the corporate ladder.
Oh, that's a great goal to have. Now I just got 2 more, one serious, or one funny and one serious. As somebody who's known me since I was 15 years old, how much can you say I have changed since the day you met me?
Who, you, Greg?
Yeah.
Greg has not changed much at all. He has matured, but Greg is pretty much still the same that we were in high school.
I appreciate that, and you are too. I mean, it's I'll do some great things. One of the smartest people I've ever met. But we're almost out of time, and I thank you so much for doing this. But I do always ask everybody this, and it's you can even relate to this more, because you went to Madison County School. You grew up Black in Madison County in a rural area, just like everybody here. But yet you have done some amazing things going through the same school district. And you can attest that your child in Madison County schools now has access to stuff we never had.
Right.
We never got free ACTs.
I see them all the time. Yeah.
We never got free ACTs and MacBooks and all this stuff. So obviously you had greater obstacles even than these young people are going to have, but they're still going to face obstacles just because of the color of their skin. And it's not right and it's not fair, but we all know it's true. So what can they do now to be as successful as someone like you, even if they never go into banking? What type of steps can they take?
I would say, like I said earlier, be innately true to yourself. Work hard, study hard, apply yourself. Now, I think if you apply a lot of the lessons learned that I shared today, because those are things that I truly learned along the way. And I don't really focus on my skin color. I focus more so on my education, my knowledge, and I just want to be the best me that I can be. Of course, I have seen things, along the way, as far as, racial things or different things along the way, but I never let those things bother me because of my faith. I believe that what's ever meant for me is for me. And so I kind of just focus on those things, the goals, and I focus on what I can control, and things I can't control, like the color of my skin. I don't focus on that. I focus on being the best person that I can be. And so I just say, just be the best you can be. And like I was saying earlier, take everything as serious, make the highest grades you can, talk with your teachers about their additional resource you can do to stand out, be involved. All those things will make you stand out, no matter, what your skin color is. It's all about the person you are, and your ethic and how hungry you are for success, and success will find you.
That's awesome. We appreciate you so much for joining us. You're a great man, Ralph Brown. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank y'all. Bye.
See ya.